Guys, the former Philippine President Rodrigo R. Duterte is now detained in the International Criminal Court to face and defend himself concerning the charges leveled against him. This makes him the first former Asian head of state to be tried by the International Tribunal. How this came about, let's take a look back at how this is started and how it has gone this far. World Eyes brings you any educational knowledge or information around the globe, current or many years ago, that has historical or significant value. It is your eyes to the world.
We will not stop until...
As everyone knew, Duterte's war on drugs has seen the death of hundreds of people, including children, who have been called collateral damage. Suspected drug users and pushers were killed without due process. The International Criminal Court investigated him for crimes against humanity in connection with the killings of thousands of Filipinos. The probe began in 2011 when Duterte was still mayor of Davao and continued till 2019 during Duterte's presidency. The alleged crime committed and investigated was within the time frame when the Philippines was still a member of the ICC. Duterte withdrew the Philippines membership in 2018, and such withdrawal was accepted in March 2019. At the Philippine government's request, the investigation was temporarily halted in 2021 after it claimed it had a functioning judicial system capable of investigating and prosecuting Duterte's alleged abuses. However, the ICC, dissatisfied with the Philippine government's effort, resumed the probe in 2023. What transpired several days ago that led to Duterte's arrest might be ascribed to a series of blunders committed by the Dutertes, one after the other. When the sealed arrest warrant issued by the ICC was leaked to the Dutertes, the former president flew to Hong Kong ostensibly to meet and greet and thank his hordes of followers, the overseas contract workers. But some pundits thought otherwise, saying Duterte was in fact seeking China's assistance, with whom he is closely identified with. His sudden departure, despite failing health, has set up wild speculation that he was trying to evade arrest. And if it were true, it could be his first major blunder. He could have simply stayed in Davao, waited for the warrant to be served, and let his millions of followers protect him, like what the disciples of the Kingdom of Jesus did to Pastor Kibuloy when they shielded him from arrest. Duterte has more of a fighting chance if he was in his own territory. Whether he was seeking China's assistance for a possible asylum, we can only deduce it didn't happen, since he traveled back to Manila. However, China did not completely abandon him by way of warning the ICC not to politicize his arrest. Having no options left, he flew back to the Philippines and committed his second blunder. He was going straight into the hornet's nest, only to be arrested upon arrival. Where before, when President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and the Dutertes were one as a political team, Marcos even declared that he would not permit the ICC to arrest Duterte in any shape or form. But the alliance broke, and Duterte started branding the incumbent president a drug dependent or a drug user.
entity o doktor, magpakuha rin ako, o sige, pati ako.
Marcos retaliated, claiming the former president also uses drugs.
It is highly addictive.
Then, Sara Duterte, Marcos' vice president, also had a falling out with him after she was investigated for the unaccounted confidential funds. Sara accused the president was behind the probe. Threats to remove Marcos from office, including death threats, were carelessly thrown into the airwaves, and it went wild. These forced Marcos to take action or risk getting drowned with them. When the warrant of arrest was served, the president, who had every option at his disposal, including the power to stop the arrest, chose not to do so. He made an about-face and declared that in compliance with the agreement with the Interpol when it sought their assistance, Duterte has been arrested and flown to The Hague. In Section 17 of Republic Act number 9851, approved in 2009, allows the Philippines to turn over suspect or accused individuals to an international court accused of crimes including crimes against humanity. Duterte, having no case filed against him in any Philippine court for the alleged crimes attributed to him, the ICC has more jurisdiction over him and the Republic Act number 9851 becomes pertinent. Duterte now under the custody of The Hague, where he can probably languish in jail from 5 to 6 years, or maybe more, depending on how fast or slow the case would proceed. He faces a sentence of roughly 30 years in jail, or worse, life in prison if found guilty. However, whatever decision the ICC may impose is still appealable. Considering Duterte's health and physical condition, there is a strong probability he might not see the light of day in Davao anymore, and this would be very unfortunate for him and his family. Whether it is the law of man or the law of God that we have to face, one thing is certain: no matter how long it takes, the law will ultimately catch up with us for any transgression we commit against another person. Meanwhile, the feud between the Marcoses and the Dutertes is something that had to be watched. It has now become so toxic and personal that we can only hope it doesn't explode into a much bigger problem. And with that, thank you, good day, and good night. And that's for now for Word Eyes. Stay tuned on my next vlog. And don't forget to subscribe, please. Thank you.